Hello out there in Streamland. It is Wednesday, 10:30 on the clock. So that means we're going to be messing around with getting ready for our Starfinder game on Sunday nights, 5 o'clock Pacific time. You're welcome to join us. Check it out. See how this actually comes into play live. If you're watching on YouTube later, thank you so much for checking this out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that fancy stuff. And you're welcome to come by. We do the same thing with Dungeons and Dragons on Tuesdays as well. So if you have any questions or if it's something you're interested in learning how to do with Unity, feel free to comment, stop by, ask me questions, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So this is a brand new theme that just came out in Unity. It is a phenomenal look. I really like it a lot. It is a little bit harder to read and to go through and some of the things just to see. So I don't know how usable it might be. I don't know how my players are going to like it. But I'm going to mess around with it today and see what they think. I mean, what I think of it now that I'm using it and stuff. Um, and we'll go from there. So last week, our intrepid group of adventurers came into this room. They killed what was called a rebuilt. It's this creature that went into a machine that was supposed to heal them, restructure the DNA to remove any kind of diseases and wounds and things. Um, Instead, it sort of jumbled everything up. Uh, and so this thing had run away from the facility where that had happened and was living in here. Our group came and destroyed it. So what I'm doing today is I'm taking a look at a little bit more, just making sure we are ready to go with the rest of this building that they're in. And then I'm going to possibly do another encounter outside. But let's take a look at the storyline we've got. Let's see which. Here we go. All right, so this is our story. Again, this boy is a little hard to read with this new font, this new setup here. All right, so right now they're in room C. D is going to be empty. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to open this up, turn off the line of sight so that it lights up the map a little bit so we can see it a little better. I also think I might cheat. Expand my map. For now, I'm also going to turn off the grid. So now I can see the part of the map that I'm working on. And then when I move this, I can read it a smidge better. All right. Okay, so let's see. We've got, so D just appears to be Little room. Supposed to be a stairway, but I'm just going to ignore that. So we're just going to put it here that this is an ancient cabinet filled with electronic lines the southern wall. And I'm going to put engineering check. I'm going to say it's a 20 slash computers 18 slash culture 25 will allows the PC to know this is a mainframe. So there's no power to this building. So even if these things were working, it's not. So let's make sure I read this right. An ancient cabinet filled with electronics lines the southern wall. So we will make this a, oops, wrong one. Make this a speech bubble, Control 3. So what does it look like when we share this now with this one? See, wow, I can't even read that. Okay, so what if we make it a spoken speech bubble? No, we can't read that. Wow, this is so frustrating because it's such a beautiful thing. All right, folks, so let's go ahead and switch out of this. Bright light, bright light. We'll switch to a different theme. So if you don't know how to do the themes when you're loading your campaign, down here in the extensions, you can find your themes. So a lot of these now come with it. So you have dark, dungeon, futuristic, gothic, industrial, light, simple gray, western, and wood. Light has and dark have similar issues, not anywhere near as bad. I've been using dark for several weeks in one of my D&D games. Dark, but I do like gothic. I think I'm going to try gothic just for fun because they haven't seen it yet. This is gothic and is a newer one, as well as the one we just did, which is future. Future is the newest of them all. While this is loading, let's go ahead and some of the things that they've added in here is some really nice tile sets for Starfinder. There's actually not for Starfinder only. They have the new Alien role-playing game out now. So I'm sure you can use them for those. You can use them for the Savage World if it's set in a futuristic setting. Of course, you could also use it for D&D if they come upon some sort of technological fortress, or if you want to use it for the nautiloid ships of the Illithids, the mind flayers, inside their ships. There's lots of different things that you could use these really nice science fiction tiles for maps and things. Um, the story with my Sunday night group for Starfinder is they are searching for these cultists. The cultists are searching for this weapon called the Stellar Degenerator, which is this huge weapon that can destroy stars and therefore, obviously, the rest of the solar system. Um, and so it's an ancient weapon that has been hidden for millennia. Oh, I must have hit Gothic. I did not want to do Gothic. Sorry, folks. So there are two people who are looking, two groups looking for this. The Eoxians, who are a uh, undead. I did hit Gothic. That is not what I meant to do. Sorry, guys. I meant industrial. There we go. Um, so the Eoxians are from a dead planet. They're mostly undead themselves, liches and zombies and ghouls and vampires, the whole hierarchy within Eox. And a faction of the group of the Eoxians are called the Corpse Fleet. They're not they're not recognized by the official government, and but they want to restore Eox to its original glory. They're looking for this weapon, as well as the Cult of the Devourer. The Cult of the Devourer just wants to destroy everything, and so the Cult of the Devourer has come to this planet that's outside the Pact Worlds. It's called Nejor. The solar system is Nejor, Nejeor, and there are a bunch of different planets in this solar system, one of which is a gas planet, gas giant. And floating above this gas giant is a tiny little speck of a city that's been dead for thousands of years. Uh, the technology of the city has gone into decay. The people there have devolved back into like a barbarian, um, savage type group of people who just use archaic weapons, axes and bows and arrows. And so when the cult came there, they don't know what ships are, spaceships or anything like that. The cult just took what they wanted and left. So that made them angry. That made them upset. They abused their holy sites and things. So now when the group came here following the cults, uh, the Kish, the people who are living on this planet, trying to prevent them from and not helping them, those type of things. So they've had to search for these different clues to get into the building where the same building the cult went into, because the Kish, the natives, are keeping them from going in. So that's where we are. They're getting a little sidetracked. They go to different abandoned buildings throughout this interesting little floating city. Here's the floating city that I was talking about, Istamak. And so there, right now, the party is up here in this building. Sounds like a Star Trek Next Generation episode, Drake Take says. Yeah, that is correct. Um, but with a lot less focused uh, crew. At least my group is. The whole when they got here, what they were the storyline supports is they meet these people who are living down here. They go here. They go to what's called the House of Renewal, and the spires. I mean, the Maze of Ghosts. They get the two clues, which then lead them up to the Broken Lands, and then they're able to then enter their primary goal, which is a temple found. Get the information the cultists got, and then take off. Well, they met the people, went to the Maze of Ghosts, and then just sat there and explored every single building all along here. Finally decided, okay, let's go to the House of Renewal. They went to the House of Renewal. Learned that they now have to go up here they had to figure out a way to get between these floating rocks from the mainland where they are right now. Um, so despite many hints to almost blatantly saying, go back to talk to these people, they have the answer. They decided, well, we're just going to start exploring up here. Maybe we'll find something that'll help us get over here. So that's where we are now. So this is the building that they're in. And it's a map of an old laboratory I found. And so I've made a couple different encounters for these other for a couple of the rooms. I want to flesh out a few of the other rooms with just some details. I do wing a lot of this. So here in room A, they found some ghosts. I'm going to want to continue that theme a little bit because several of the other encounters, sometimes the DM has to say, just get in the pod squall and get your long rest. Yes, sometimes you pretty much have to say, okay, we're going to do this. It's fine line between railroading and just saving time and moving on with the story. So you are definitely correct, Drake takes. Um, so again, I don't want to spend a lot of time in this building. So I've got 3 encounters. The rest of them are empty. They found some ghosts that were just apparitions and spirits of office workers. There's a room full of skeletons up here and bones and stuff. So of course they have to have an encounter here because if you're going to have a room of skeletons and nothing there, that's not how role-playing games work. All right, so in room G, though, there's nothing here. Some more non-aggressive ghosties. So let's go ahead and throw some tokens in there of some aforementioned non-aggressive ghosties. Railroading and hand waving can be similar, but the illusion to the player varies. Yes. Yeah, I've already pretty much. So what they need is they need what these things called, well, one solution. In a game with this where you have technology and things, there are several solutions that they could come up with. One of the players can fly already, so she won't have an issue. So really all I need is rope. Or they can use what's called a grappler. It's basically a technological grappling hook that shoots the hook out. And so since they didn't take the bait and didn't go back down to the colony that has these things, I've already alluded, they've found somebody, just a commoner, who says, oh yeah, some of these kids go and play, challenge each other and try to see who can get across these islands. And they do that up in this location. So nothing else. They'll find these grapplers hidden by these punk kids that they use. So I've got a couple different ways of getting them moving once we get done with this building. So I'm going to throw a couple ghosty tokens in here. I've got tokens selected. We're going to put ghost. Let's try a spirit. See if I have any new different tokens. Little sheets with eyes cut out of them. Interesting. Change, right? Rope or the route the players might try is let's change the orbital rotation of the planet. Change it so the rocks are closer. Yeah. Yep, they could try that. They're too unstable and too small for them to use their spaceship. and the gravity of the gas giant will pull them in if they fall. So it's not like it's zero gravity where they can just push off or use a fire extinguisher or something. So, but they could make um, jump jets. They could go back to their ship, and they have a like technological workshop, and they could build jump jets or jet packs, those type of things. Both of those things exist. Jump boots. So there's lots of different ways that they could handle this. They just chose to go the most time consuming um, and the most challenging for the game master. But that's fine. I don't mind it at all. A lot of this has been very railroaded, and I've pretty much added flavor to the storyline to boost it a little bit. But so I don't mind a little bit of a distraction here and there. All right, so here are some more ghosties. It's pretty much the same ones I had before. Just out of curiosity, let's see. Apparition. Oh, there is one. Okay. So we're going to throw him in there. That's cool. And then we're going to go with the ghost. So we're going to have the last place they went to. I want Mythbuster to do a show on fire extinguishers in a vacuum. Yeah. I don't know how much propulsion, how much a fire extinguisher requires the air to push off to grant resistance to the stuff that spews out of it. I don't know how much that would factor into a vacuum fire extinguisher. I don't know, because it might just spew out. I would be curious about that as well, having Mythbusters do that. All right, so we're going to have I think I'm going to use this one with the circle around it. Just makes it a little bit more, well, let's see. So if you compare the two, yeah, the other ones are just too hard to see with that type of floor. So we're going to go ahead and delete these two. I'm going to have two of these. Where did they go? There they go. Two of the women. Going to have this tortured soul over here. Sort of playing out a little drama with these two, trying to console it as it's, or maybe they're arguing, all three of them are arguing or something. So we will change the visibility to invisible for now. All right, and then we will remind myself what this is. Three apparitions. All right, so three apparitions are in a heated argument, moving around the room as they argue and gesticulate. All right, so I'll have them do that once the group shows up. So again, to move around the map, there are a couple different ways. You can click down here on the golden compass. Once you left click it, you can then slide around, or from anywhere in the map, you can click down on the wheel of the actual mouse, click it, and that'll allow you to move freely as you move the map. All right, so H is a big office. I think I'll give them a little bit of loot they could find in here. I think it'll be some kind of nice knife. Let's see. Well, they don't really use a whole lot of weapons. Maybe some potions. So let's go to the tables, to the items. I like this industrial look. It's very easy to read, very cool looking. So like when you open up these windows, this part up here is actually see-through with like a wind stained glass effect. I mean, I like it a lot. Very cool. It reminds me personally of like a steampunk or a BioShock. And if I'm wrong on the BioShock, forgive me. I've never actually played it more than like 5 minutes in the beginning. Uh, but just the feel of this type of um, look is really cool. I like it a lot. All right, so let's see. There's not a lot of potions in this, but there are serums. So let's do serum and see what they do. Adaptive serum. That is nice. So the first time you take energy damage, you gain resistance against that type of damage for the remainder of an hour. Um, so a Mark II would give them energy resistance 10. Very cool. All right, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so here we're going to make a little parcel. Why don't I have my parcels? All right, I'll put them all on here and then take away the things I don't use, like my quests and my themes. Can I change themes on the fly? Oh no, sure. They've done away with a couple. They used to have vehicles and they used to have starships. So I wonder where the starships are now. Interesting. All right. Anyway, two parcels. So we are on the Dead Suns part 4. The Ruined Clouds. All right, so now I'm going to add, click, right click. This is abandoned building. Room H. Da, da, da. All right, so in the room H, we're going to throw a couple of these adaptive serums. 2. We'll have 1 Mark 2 and 2 Mark 1s that this guy's going to have in his thing. What is a gravity serum? Let's see. Creature strength is 4 higher for the purposes of determining how much you carry. And you can move. Nice. Okay. Don't care. Serum of Sex Shift. That's funny. You know what? I'm going to do it just for laughs. We're going to give him a Serum of Sex Shift. All right, so we then link it into the room. Give me a minute. Gotta make some room for it. We will link this also in the room, the parcel link. And I'm going to say under the fallen desk is a trap door leading to a small space about 2 feet square. Inside is a rotten wooden box that crumbles at the touch, revealing 3 serums. Under the desk is a trapdoor leading to a space about 2 feet square. Inside is a rotten box that crumbles at the touch, revealing 3 serums. I'll make that a story entry. What if the story entry looking at like this? Ooh, very nice. A little fancy box. Very cool. And what about the speech bubbles? Let's see. Ooh, the GM. An ancient cabinet filled with cabinets. Interesting. A little misleading because it's not the GM talking, it's the computer talking, but still pretty cool. All right, so this is not actually a speech bubble, it's to be a story entry. All right, so we have a security room in I, J, not even sure what this is supposed to be. Maybe a couch with love seat and a rug. And then way over here is like a desk or something as soon as you come in. Maybe a waiting room. So you come in the front door, past the pretty floral into here. Yes, and then while you're waiting to talk to this big guy, you have a seat until he calls you. All right, so this is a waiting room. A large screen has fallen off wall opposite the couch. All right, so they come in, depending which door they come in. There's also a collapsed metal desk. All right, so if they come in this door, the first thing they see, a collapsed metal desk with an electronic communication device. It's not a complete sentence. Smell of rust. Permeates your armors. Forget what it's called. Protective gear. I'll look it up in a minute. Smell of rust permeates your armor's protective gear, and you see a collapsed metal desk with electronic communication device. A large screen has fallen off the wall opposite the rotten couch. All right. So it gives me a couple different things to talk to them about. All right, so that fills in the rest of this area. They have not gone to room B yet. We'll turn on the line of sight again. Maybe. Weird. There we go. Line of sight. All right, so yes, they fought this thing called a rebuilt in this room. It was living in the back of this truck. Last week. Okie dokie, so we're done with this. We will then go back to the map of Istamak. So the area I mentioned where they can find the goods is up here. And I've got a map for that. They did mention they wanted to go search through this building. I think I'm just going to sort of hand wave that. So it's got this walkway leading up to it. I think I'm going to have this be like a sporting arena, where some sort of event, sort of sporting events were held in here with different seating areas and things. So then when they come up to here, Let's see if I can find that map again. So if we look at my folders, I can find it quickly and remember the name of it. All right. It is in Fancy Ground Maps. Docking Bay Jungle is what I call it. And or trash compactor. All right, so check out my assets. It's a fine assets you got there, buddy. Search the jungle, see what it comes up with. Does not have that image I was referring to, so therefore, let's go find it. All right, so, gee, Sven, how do you add an image into your campaign? Well, I'm glad you asked. There's a couple different ways of doing it. And the way that's most familiar to me is to find where we just were. So go to here, find your picture that you want. And then go to your Fantasy Grounds main folder. Open a new window, that's what I was looking for. So SmiteWorks is Unity. If it doesn't say SmiteWorks, it just says roaming and Fantasy Grounds. That's classic. So then I go to my campaigns. So I can put it, let's see, Fantasy Grounds. So I do have main images here that I can stick it into, like I did with my laboratory. Or what I prefer to do is just go into the campaign. The one we're working on now is Engage. Then go to Images. So here's my different one. I have Trash Compactor already, but I don't have the jungle one. So copy and paste. Docking Bay Jungle. So now, open up the assets. If you just type in jungle, it's not going to be there again. But you're like, hey, Sven, you just added it. So why isn't it there? Because you have to click the refresh folder assets. The folder assets refreshed. Now when I type jungly correctly, so now when I type jungle, we wait for it to search. Why does it say slash? It should say jungle. There we go. Docking Bay Jungle, da da da. So then you just double click it, and now you have a nice little preview of that. And you can click Import to Campaign. Diddly-doo, diddly-doo, diddly-doo. See, so you've got this cool looking 3D version of this thing going down, surrounded by a jungle. If you look at our Istomac map, it's not exactly like that, but it's pretty darn close. I am not going to take the time to change all these. I could open it into Photoshop and try to change this into like a dark drab tan and stuff. But what you can do now is go to Effects, Add an Effects, Time of Day. Could just make it sepia. Let's just see what that does. There we go. Boom. Simple as that. And I can also change the amount. So let's see if we go up and down. All right. Let's see. I don't want it. No, I'm just gonna have it be maxed out. All right, good. So simple as that. It now looks a lot closer to that. Throw the grid on. Let's see, 50 by 50. We'll start with that and see what it looks like. Turn on the grid. All right, so we're then going to change the color of the grid, make it a little less obtrusive. Let's see, what is good against tan? How about red? Or blue? Yellow? All right, we're going to go with like with the red. We're just going to turn it down a little bit. All right, so now we have our grid. Let's see these things. So we've got stuff that looks like a bed. Some sort of crates. The crates look to be about 8 feet wide. Little table. So that makes this whole thing come on. 115 feet across from bottom to bottom. That works. I like it. I like that grid depth. All right, so just like that, easy as that, easy as pie. So I'm going to switch the name, make it unidentified, and there's just going to be a technological homeless shelter. Well, I'm just going to say technological pit. So the storyline is these kids would come, teenage Kish will come down here, they'll hang out here, do whatever kids do, abuse drugs, abuse each other. And hidden in here, possibly one of these crates, maybe in the wall, in a section of the wall that breaks off and comes out, are the grappling things that they need to get across if they wish to go that route. Shrink it down, pin it. I'm pinning it. Boom, there we go. Add it to my story as well. I don't have my story down here. That's weird. All right, Ancient Office Space. I'm gonna throw that down here. Boom. All right, so to add it to our story, we'll need a new story. So again, we're in section 4. Forgotten City of Istamak. We have been exploring random encounters, exploring Istamak. That's where I've been adding my stuff. So this ancient office space is what this is. So we're going to go ahead and make this docking bay. We're going to make it 311A. 3.11. .01. All right, so then we're just going to add some little storyline to it. So if we go into the Broken Lands, which is down here, that gives us a little bit of our the thing I'm pulling from, the storyline I'm pulling from, which is bam. So this talks about how up here is much of the city's technological infrastructure, servers, utility stations, and the like. And then after they stopped receiving supply runs, one of the city's power stations suffered a catastrophic containment breach and exploded, cracking the ground beneath it. Large fragments of the city broke off. A few retain some of the magic that keeps the city afloat. And they hover approximately in sync with the rest of Istamak, although they have gained or lost a few feet of elevation over the millennia. Most Kish consider setting foot on broken land taboo, but every so often a group of foolhardy Kish youth use grappling hooks and scavenge cables to explore the decrepit building that still stand there. So that's the whole thing I've been talking about. And so they're going to find these grappling hooks and scavenge cables. So we will go into items, make a parcel, and we are in Dead Sums Part 4. Good. So we go click 3.11.01 ancient talking bay. And now I find my items that I want. One of them, I think I'll give them 2 grapplers. Why not? Let's just get this thing done. You know what I'm saying? Not a mean, not a mean. Grappler. Boom. There are 2. All right, let's look for any kind of rope. What does it say? 50 feet. Cable lines. It specifically said cable. So I'm going to keep this open and see. Haha. So we have titanium and adamantine. I'm presuming adamantine is not as cool as titanium is not as cool as adamantine. Let's see. So yeah, adamantine is level 2. Oh yeah, 2,500 compared to 25. All right, so that's what they're going to find. They've got some cable line, 50 foot and 100 foot of titanium. And I'm going to say there's two 10-foot cables too. So they have 2 grapplers, a total of 170 feet of cable. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. The AC and hardness and hit points. So it must be, it's only in a 10-foot. That's weird. Adamantine doesn't have that at all. Oh well, it's a mistake. Okay. So let's go to the 50 foot. Open it. What? Read only? I can't fix it? Oh well. I don't like it not having the AC and hardness. Okay. So the reason that will matter is that I think I'm going to just say that there's some rope there too. 50 feet of rope. Yeah. So there's cable for the grapplers and then rope if they just want to tie it around themselves. And we'll say there's 2 segments of 50 feet rope. All right, so now we throw this down here, parcel. We close this. Close this. Close that. We will put this here. And then we will also link the picture over here. So this has the image. Oh, speaking of which, yes, I need to put the image in the story. Come on, unlock. Unlock. Open for me. There we go. Something nice that they've started that Fantasy Ground last update did is they now add parcel and image to when you do these type of things, so it's pretty cool. So we can get rid of this one. Delete, delete. Put that one there instead. All right, so today, children, we have finished this building. So we can sort of hustle them through it. Have an idea of the sporting events arena here. And now we've got this, so they can get the grappling hooks, they can get the stuff, and they can then start the journey, take off from here to go. They eventually need to get here. It's either here or here, one of the two. To get to the ancient security office, to get the last piece of the puzzle that they need to enter the temple found. All right, so I'm going to cut here. It has been an hour, as they say on Car Talk. You've wasted another hour. Hopefully, you're like me, and I say hopefully because it frees up your time. I prefer to watch YouTube videos and podcasts at faster speeds, so hopefully you've been doing that today. As you watch this, zip over it. learn some new stuff. If have questions, feel free to ask. If you pop in the chat while I'm live on Wednesday mornings, then I'll be happily to be sidetracked. I'll be glad to answer any questions or show you whatever you want to see that I can do. So we will leave it at this. And don't forget, whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day.